Hello and welcome to Red Shelf Reviews because I literally film on a red shelf. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at another Gundam model kit. This one happens to be the real grade Freedom Gundam from the series Mobile Suit Gundam Seed and Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. What is a real grade, you might be asking yourself? Well, a real grade is essentially an amalgamation of Bandai's three primary kit grades. That being, it has the same height of 1 to 144 scale as Bandai's high grade, the internal frame of the 1 to 100 scale master grade, and the approximate proportional part count of the 1 to 60th scale perfect grade. This is a really good idea, and I'm glad Bandai is going with it, and this didn't just turn into an experiment. Anyway, taking a look inside the manual, because this is radically different, you get a parts guide that's not just a fold out, with lots of plates, detail on the internal frame, or as they call it, the advanced MS joint system. Its component, it all comes on one tree, and how you do it, you just build the frame and slap the parts on top of it. How to apply the decals, etc. The other thing is when they divide it up by sections, and each section is marked with a full color illustration, which is really helpful. The articulation is fantastic on this kit, and those pictures do not lie. That picture shows how the joints work. You see more, and then they give you this. This is the decal guide. Yeah, that's a lot of decals, and they're not joking. They give you lots of choices, and that means, oh wow, that's a lot of decals. That's the decal sheet, and yes, they give you a supplemental decal sheet. They give you a supplemental decal sheet, because just one isn't enough. Anyway, we're going to be taking a look at the detail throughout this kit, which I've just plopped down on the table there. So let's take a look. Anyway, starting off again with a head, this time we're going to be doing a little bit of 360 here, just to show it off in all its glory. The head itself looks really good. That skirt back there does hamper posability a little bit. Having seen the master grade up close, this is by far the superior kit. The lines are a lot sharper, where the master grade had these very rounded lines, giving the look of a much softer face. This thing looks absolutely amazing. Looks like the line art. Taking a look at the chest, we're going to point out the real grade color separation. They give you two colors minimum on at least every area. You got the light blue, the navy blue, and that almighty Gundam blue. The eyes, they give you options for the eyes. I decided to paint them silver with a clear coat of yellow, and then use the black eye silhouette around them. The face vents are indeed cut through. You're going to want to glue that red part on there, or else it's going to ping off like a little missile, and it's going to be even harder. Those vents on the side come in one piece, and the head Vulcans right behind the V-fin are a separate piece. No painting required, at least for that. The back vents there completely cut through, and yeah, a little bit of hampering there, a little bit of lining on the back. The face, not too much lining. Articulation you get, that collar really does actually come into play. It really does hammer side to side, up and down. Down's not so much, up's pretty bad. Side to side movement is fine, and then you get chicken neck action, due to it being essentially a double ball joint. Next, we're looking at the chest. The chest is really well done, and we'll see why in a second. You got the cockpit latch there, individual thrusters on the back. The cockpit hatch does indeed open, and close, which was a feature of 1 to 100 skill master grades and the perfect grades. And it's one of the easier hatches to open. Just slides forward. The articulation on the chest, and well, the waist articulation starting off is great. Ab crunch forward and backwards, amazing. And you even get side to side ab crunch, which is fantastic. It maintains the high level of detail, even going as far as to include the angular designs and reducing the Freedom's frontal side profile, and even includes chest vulcans, which come separate pieces, no painting required. Taking a look at the waist section now, the front skirts are on individual ball joints, so they move up. Side skirts have a meh bend, and the back skirt also has a meh bend, but you get nice color separation on the back skirt, a darker gray and a white, and it's essentially like a coattail, so it's all one big piece. Does like to twist a lot though. Moving the front skirts out of the way, the hips are going to be able to move really far out for the front, and yes, I am having it do the can-can. Side skirts move out about that far, and again, meh, bend even with the hips. That back skirt really does like to rotate, and again, meh, but I understand why. Knees on this kit are really good. You see, as you start to bend them, they're really tight, and pieces of armor separate out and move all about, and yeah, a lot of big bend. And again, you see that dang back skirt wants to rotate. It's a really loose back skirt. The feet themselves and the ankles are really posable. Side to side and up and down movement is no problem. And then the feet actually are separate. The front part and the heel is separate, and so is the toe. The heel is just one big block. So you can get some high levels of posability out of there. And yeah, that back skirt really is loose and doesn't want to stay back. Next, taking a look at the shoulder. You see the color separation there again. The gray and the white. The shoulder has a really interesting joint for bending upward. It's a really stiff joint, but it will go. And once you get it there, it does lock into place, so it won't fall down. And all you have to do to reset it is push back a little piece. Shoulder bends all the way out and somewhat locks into place there, which is fantastic. The shoulder arm itself has a bit of movement in it. Has a thruster there that you can indeed move. I just leave it flat up against the shoulder, but you could have it resting around. Does rotate 360 degrees, as well as rotates underneath. The elbow bends first to 90 degrees, and then goes up there. That piece there will slide back as it gets pushed by the pistons. And the hand itself is on a ball joint, so no problem there. Springy joints. Now that we've taken a look at all of the articulation, we're going to be taking a look at the accessories, starting off with the angel wings, as I call them. The angel wings are done incredibly well. They're frustrating to build and have a tendency to fall apart, but for the most part, once you get them into a pose, they do work really well. They separate out, and there's 3 individual wings that you can adjust. I did have to glue that part in, as it would not stay on during construction, so I just glued that together. The articulation goes 360 degrees on a swivel and then bends forward and backward quite easily. There is a small orange piece that forms a rim, so high detail even in the thrusters on the backpack. Moving that aside. The beam rifle, which has that blue piece there, was either painting or sticker on the original Masquerade, so that's a thumbs up. The scope there. The hand is a bracket hand that's meant for the gun itself. Holds it really nicely, so works out just fine. And then has another option hand for interlocking with the Justice's hand to recreate the scene from Gundam Seed. And then it comes with another set of hands. These are real grade hands. They're essentially master grade hands with a twist. They're 3-in-1 and then the thumb, but each finger or each set includes an additional joint. So has it stretched out, and I'm just going to zoom in for the sake of sanity. See, it has a joint at the first knuckle, so it can bend down. So you can actually have it form a fist instead of just relying on that sole ball joint. So that would be your normal, but now you can actually push them down and it forms a decent fist. So that works out. And the thumb's also on a ball joint and includes its own joint. Then it includes the shield. What Gundam's complete without a shield? This is a great shield. A lot of pieces, includes a handle that you can have the Gundam hold, but it holds it just fine with the attachment. It has a very, very dark blue, almost black. And so no painting is required on the shield. And then it comes with the beam sabers, which peg in the hand, holds it just fine. It comes with these clear red blade, which I don't use because I never have it posed in that. So, yeah. Comes with 2, and you can indeed go all Darth Maul by snapping the 2 together. If I didn't do it correctly the first time, there you go. Can hold it just fine. Yeah, I never use the beam sabers anyway, so I don't really worry. And then the other accessory is found back on the Gundam, for which I have separated the top from the bottom. Getting that, you take the skirts and you fold them forward and snap that into place. Rotate it up. Rotate that back part up. And then if you have fingernails, you can dig that out, and that's a handle. And yeah, the side skirts are guns. Yeah, and transforming it is just as easy. Fold that back up, push it down, snap it into place, and lock it back. The last pair of guns are found on the wings. These cannons here are inside the wings, and pull them out and fold them up, and they rotate on a hinge. So they can swing over the shoulders. Both sides do that. Really hard to actually grab everything due to all the small parts. And yeah, the thing has a tendency to fall apart. But it's really easy to just snap it back into place if you line everything up properly. Get everything back into it. Takes a couple tries for me, but I don't have the best engine. Then snaps right back into place, and yeah, works just fine. And you can, by adjusting the way the big set of wings are, you can have them up against the and then it just with a plug Just pushes into the back. And it'll stay on pretty secure. So, what do I think of this kit? I love it. Honestly, I do. The kit itself is great. It really does look like the Freedom from the show. As crappy as the show might be, some of the mecha designs were really interesting. So, I'd say if you can find it for a decent price, because the real grades in America, Canada, have a tendency to go a little bit more. If you can find it for a decent price, yeah, pick it up. Pick it up because it really is worth it. It's a fun and interesting build, and what more can I say? Frustrating would be a good word for it in some parts. A lot of small pieces. What you're going to need to complete this kit, though, is a lining marker. I use a Real Touch lining marker. And then I recommend using some paints for the eyes and the cameras. I use clear green Tamiya paints with a reflective silver. It happens to be chrome silver, and a clear yellow for the eyes. They just happen to be Tamiya because that's the preferred brand of paint that I use. Well, thank you for watching. I would appreciate it if you rated, commented, and if you, even more, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. I'll see you next time.